Good morning everybody and welcome to our Go Live training for ROL Rentals. My name is Rowan and I'll be taking you through the training session and showing you how ROL Rentals can help you guys save time by responding to inquiries automatically for you and having the software working for you 24/7. So before we get started with the training session, if you guys have any questions at all, you can send them through to the mobile number and email address on screen. So if you have any questions right throughout the session, please send them through. We do have James who is going to be responding to those questions for you guys during the session so that we can answer anything as we go along. So please don't be shy, send through those questions. Can I also ask that you send through your agency's details just so that we know that you guys are in attendance and that we can give you a follow-up phone call afterwards just to make sure everything is set up and ready to go. Okay. So with that, for those of you guys who haven't heard of Inspect Real Estate before, our co-director Andrew Rees noticed a gap in the market that he thought needed to be filled. He was online one night booking some flights in a hotel and thought, why can't we do this for properties so that you can book in to inspections 24/7. So after years of development, that brings us to today. So with that, let's jump into the system and have a look at how it can help you with saving some time and lessening those phone calls into the office with responding to inquiries. So when you are first set up with the software, the first thing that you will see is the summary page with your property details. So you don't have to load your property details into the system. We do that for you. So we get a feed from the software that you use to upload your properties to, for example, realestate.com.au and domain. So that way we also get a copy of it. It's added to the system automatically. And what will happen as soon as the property is added to the system, you will get something that we call the on list report. So that'll get emailed through to you. So this is what the report will look like. So it'll just tell you that this property has just been listed, and all you will then need to do to confirm that the property is listed and to check the details is to click on the link that is contained within the email. So this is where we are going to start. So we'll click on the link for 24 Westbury Place, and this is the details that you will need to fill out to make sure that the property is in the system ready to go. So the first screen that you'll see is to confirm the assigned team member. So this will come through along with the feed that we get from your the software that you use to upload to realestate.com.au. So we'll assign a listing agent to the property. So just confirm that that is correct, and then you can go ahead and click on next. The next step that you can fill out is the owner details. So it is important to go ahead and add those owner details to the system. This will allow you to send off owner reports as you go through and you complete your inspections, just to keep the owners up to date with exactly what is happening with their property right throughout the leasing process. So let's go ahead and quickly add an owner. So you can go ahead and click on Add New Owner, fill out the details. Okay, I'll just use my details in here for now. Okay, so once you've filled that out, you can go ahead and click on Save. If you have an existing owner already in the system, you can go ahead and add their details if you want to. So you'll just select the person and click on Add Existing Owner, and that way you'll add that existing owner to this particular property. You can also add multiple owners. So if you have 2 or 3 people that you need to reply to about a certain property to keep them up to date, you can add their details to the system. Okay, so next is the inspection option. So this is just where you can confirm the available date, the vacate date, that sort of thing is correct. So in this case we didn't have a vacate date, so I'll just select that vacate date. You can also go ahead and select some of the other options. So for example, it has a pet, does it have a pool, yes or no. So it's just a bit more information about the property that you can go ahead and complete. So we'll go ahead and click on next again. From there, you do have the option to add an inspection through the on-list report. So if you know when your first inspection will be, you can go ahead and add it directly from the on-list. I'm not going to do that just yet because we are going to go through a few other steps before adding an inspection. So we'll go to next again. Then you have the option to go ahead and add some of the key details and access notes to the system. So this just makes it a little bit easier for the person who is going to carry out that inspection to access the key and access details. So everything that you enter within this section will be available in Mobile ROL, which we'll cover a little bit later on. This is the part of the software that you'll use when you're at the actual inspection. So you can go ahead and enter those details. So you can go ahead and enter the alarm code as well. That will appear on like I said, Mobile ROL. It just makes it a little bit easier again for everybody to get into the property. As a property manager previously, there were a few situations where I forgot to take an alarm code when we went and showed people through a property. So you would open that front door, have people behind you while an alarm was going off, trying to get an alarm code from the office. So I'd highly recommend entering it in here as well, so that you can make sure that you have the details on hand when you need it. You can also add the key number and a property a key description. So you can add whatever you want on there, and then you can just click on add key. That adds those details for you before you then go ahead and click on next. The next step will be to enter the current occupant details. So this just gives you the option to enter the tenant details, or if it is still owner occupied, you can enter those owner details as well. With this, if you enter the tenant details, you can send a reminder to those tenants, just letting them know that you do have an inspection upcoming tomorrow. And for our Queensland clients, you can generate and send off entry notices as well. So I highly recommend doing this, entering those tenant details. You can set up reminders to be sent out to them. That way they don't have an excuse to say, hey, we forgot about the inspection or whatever it might be. You can send them some reminders, just letting them know that you do have that inspection upcoming. Okay, and then next, just the merge field. So this is just where you can add some additional information. So if you have some additional information that you want to include in your automatic responses, you can add those details in here. So you have your pet info and property specific info. So that can be no pets allowed, or only small dogs, or only cats allowed, whatever it might be. You can put it in there. And then property specific information can be any extra information that you want to get through to anybody who inquires on the property. You can go ahead and put it in the property specific info. So put it in there, it'll go into the automatic responses, and it'll be sent out to them so that they know exactly what's going on. Okay, we'll go to next. Any attachments that you want to add to your responses, you can go ahead and do that. So if you have some documents that you need to get out to them as well, you can go ahead and add it through the property specific attachments. All you need to do is click on choose files, select the document, give it a description, so for example a brochure or whatever it might be, and then you can upload that as well. So we'll go ahead and click on next. And then the last step, the second last step, I should say, is to notify prospects that this property is now available to rent. So what will happen is it'll go through your Inspect Real Estate database, find anybody who's inquired on a similar property previously, and their names will appear in the list down here. You then have the option to notify all of them that this property is now available, and you can they can go ahead and book into your inspection. So this is just a good way to get some more people interested and advise some more people about this property, so they don't necessarily have to go looking for it on realestate.com.au. You can just send it off to them and say, hey, we've just listed this property, please go ahead and register. So to do that, you'll just make sure that you've selected the people that you want to send it to. You'll click on send, and that'll send them the messages. So we'll click on next again. And then your last step is just if you need to link property. So we're not going to go through this today. This is something that we'll go through a little bit later on in some more advanced training. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of the steps, we can go ahead and click on finish, and that will tell you that everything's been completed and the property details have now been updated. So we can go ahead and close that. So we'll close this link, and we'll go back to the summary page. I'm just going to quickly refresh it. And all of our details have now been entered, and the property information is up to date. So now that you've gone through and you've updated all of the property information and everything is ready to go, you will start receiving some inquiries on the property as well. So there are a few ways that we go ahead and capture inquiries on your behalf. So the first way is by activating a realestate.com.au book an inspection button. So on your listings, you'll notice that a blue button will start appearing where people can go ahead and click on that book an inspection button, select a time and book into one of your inspections, or they can just send through an inquiry about the property. The second way is by them clicking on the book and so contact agent button, so the red one on realestate.com.au, for example, fill out their details. We'll capture that inquiry and send them an automatic response with the times that you have available in the system, or if you don't have any times available, we will also just let them know that we will keep in contact with them and advise them as soon as some times become available. So with that, when inquiries come into the system, you will notice that you have quite a few columns on the summary page. So the three most important columns that you will always need to have a look at will be the tenants waiting, tenants not registered, and tenants booked columns. So always keep an eye on these columns. It'll keep you up to date with what's happening with that particular inquiry that you've received into the system. So what we'll do is I will quickly send through an inquiry and we'll follow it through the process and we can show you what happens to that inquiry. So I'll click on register tenant. So this is the screen that the tenants will see. It will be the register page. So they can go ahead and scroll down. At the moment, we don't have any inspection times available, but they can still send through their details. So we'll go ahead and enter my name and last name, my mobile number, and my email address. Okay, so all of the fields that I've just filled out are mandatory fields, so a tenant needs to fill them out if they click on the register link in any of the automatic responses. We can change that. If you only want to make, for example, the mobile number mandatory, we can set it up to only request the mobile number. They don't have to fill out an email address. If they have any questions, they can fill it out in the comments section, and when they're ready to go, they can go ahead and click on register details. You'll then get that notification over here saying that the person's registered their details. Okay, so if we go back into the summary page, we'll refresh the summary page, and over here you can see that we now have an inquiry in the tenants waiting column with a little red dot next to it. So all that means is that we've received an inquiry, that person has been responded to, but they haven't been advised of any inspection times because we don't have any available inspection times at the moment. To now add some inspection times, to again get in contact with this person and notify them that we do have some times available, you'll need to navigate to the inspections tab over here. So this is where you can quickly add an inspection through the Inspect Real Estate software. If you are adding your inspections through the software that you use to upload to realestate.com.au or domain, we will still get a copy of that inspection, and it will be added to the system. We will notify people about that inspection time, but the main difference between adding it through there or adding it through Inspect Real Estate is that if you add it through the software, your uploading software, you will that time will be displayed on realestate.com.au as a public open time. So people can go onto your ad and see that that time is there. They don't necessarily have to go ahead and register. They can just see the time and show up to your inspections. Where if you add it through Inspect Real Estate, people need to click on the Book an Inspection button, select a date and time, register their details, and book into the inspection. It's not displayed as a public open time anywhere. They need to click on the button or send through an inquiry, and we'll advise them of the available time. So I would highly recommend uploading your inspections through Inspect Real Estate. That way people will need to go ahead and register, and you won't have people just show up at your open. So you'll have at least have an idea of who is going to be showing up to your opens. Okay, so let's go ahead and book that inspection. So we'll click on New Inspections towards the right-hand side. We'll go ahead and select the property. We'll select the inspector, the date and time for the inspection. And as soon as we go ahead and click on Save, a pop-up will appear letting us know that we have one person waiting to be advised of inspection times. So we can go ahead and click on OK. And that person in the tenants waiting column has now been notified that we've uploaded an inspection. So I'm going to jump back to the summary page. We are going to come back to the inspection page a little bit later on. But if we have a look at the summary page now, as you can see, the tenants waiting column now has no inquiries in it, and that inquiry has moved across into the tenants not registered with a little yellow dot next to the number. So that means that we've notified this person of available inspection times, so they can now go ahead and register for our available inspection. So to do this, they would have now received a new link. So what I'm going to do is just quickly go in here, open up that link again so that we can go ahead and register into the inspection. So this is what a tenant will see. They will now see that you have the date and time available, so they can go ahead and select the date and time. Their details will already be filled out because they filled it out previously, and all we now need to do is click on confirm, and they've now booked into our inspection. So every time that they book into an inspection, or a tenant books into an inspection, you will get an email with a calendar invite attached. So you will be kept up to date with exactly who will be attending, and you can add that invite to your Outlook calendar, your Gmail calendar, whatever you are using, just to keep you up to date. And that'll update as people register for the inspection. So I'll just quickly close this down. And if I refresh our summary page again, you'll see that that inquiry has now moved across from the tenant not registered column to the tenants booked column, meaning that they've booked into our inspection. And ideally, that's what we want. We want everybody to go ahead and book into our inspections. Okay. So right throughout this process, tenants will be kept up to date. They will get those automatic responses advising them that you have some times available, and also confirming when they have booked in. So the system does keep them up to date with exactly what is going on and what is happening. Okay, so when you log into the summary page for the first time, you will see quite a lot of columns on there. You can narrow those columns down to only show the columns important to you by clicking on the column chooser and unticking the columns that you don't want to see. So you can go ahead and do that as well. So just keep that in mind. I will mention it again when I talk to you guys on the phone a little bit later on. Okay, so that is our summary page and how you will keep track of your inquiries right throughout, when you receive them. Okay, so the next step that we're going to have a look at is something that we call QuickReg. So QuickReg is a part of the system that you'll use if somebody calls into the office and inquires on a property. So this can be a phone call, this can be somebody who walks into the office and they just want to know if you have some inspections available on a specific property. So all you then need to do is click on the QuickReg button. It'll open up the screen. You can go ahead and enter the property address. It'll show the property details towards the top of the page. Towards the middle of the page, you'll have the tenant details section where you can go ahead and enter those tenant details. I always recommend starting with the mobile number, because if you enter the mobile number, click on that little arrow next to the mobile number, it'll go through the database and try and find some matching contact details. It'll then fill it up for you. You can then enter some notes, and then after that you'll have two options. You can go ahead and send the person a register link so that they can book themselves into an inspection. This is mainly the option that you'll use if you don't have any inspection times available, so you can send them the register link and they will then be advised when you have some times available. Or the most common one that you'll be using is the inspection times, where you'll go ahead and select the inspection time and book them straight into one of your available inspections. So this is what QuickReg will be used for. It is a great tool to use, especially if somebody calls you, asks about an inspection time, or walks into the office asking about inspection times. You can quickly book them in to that available inspection. Okay, so that is QuickReg. So from there, we're going to quickly have a look at our inspections tab. Okay, so we had a quick look at the inspection tab before, but we're going to spend some more time and go through a bit more information on here. So as I mentioned before, you can add your inspections using the inspections tab just by clicking on the new inspection button and entering the inspection details. Once you've entered the inspection details, it will appear in our list towards the bottom of the screen. So as you can see, I have a few properties in there, so I'm just going to narrow it down so that we can see the one that I added today. So you can see 24 Westbury Place is the one we added earlier. So we can go ahead and scroll across. So you'll see the property address, you'll see the rent, you'll have your inspector details. So this will be the person conducting the inspection. So it isn't always going to be the property manager, so you can go ahead and change it. If it has assigned the property manager against this property as the inspector, but someone else is doing it on their behalf, you can just click on the drop down and select the person who will be conducting this particular inspection. So I'm just going to change it back. We'll keep going across. You'll have some details when the inspection is booked in for, so the day, the date, and the time. If you ever need to change your inspection date and time, you can go ahead and change it within this section over here. So you can click on the date and select a new inspection date if you ever need to, or you can just change the time as well. So if we go back to it being on Friday and you need to change the time, you can go ahead and change the time as well. So you can change both of those in one go if you need to, but it is pretty straightforward to go ahead and change these details. If you change any of the inspection details, it will notify anybody registered for an inspection that you've had to change the inspection details. So they will be kept up to date with any changes that you make for this inspection. So we'll keep going across. You can see who added the inspection. We can see the key details, the maximum number of tenants. So you can limit the maximum number of tenants that are allowed to book into this inspection. So if, for example, you only want to allow 10 people to go through, you can change this to only allow 10 people. So we'll do that. And then as soon as 10 people have registered, it will hide this inspection time, so no one else can go ahead and register. But if someone cancels out, it will open it up again. It's, the tenants over here, it'll just have everybody registered who's registered for that inspection, all of their details in there, so that you are up to date with exactly who has booked in to that inspection. And then you have your cancel button over here. So if you ever need to cancel an inspection, you can go ahead and click on cancel, and that will cancel this inspection, notifying everybody that registered the inspection had to be cancelled, and it will, yeah, like I said before, keep everybody up to date with exactly what is happening. Okay, so that is our inspection tab. So this is where you can easily keep track of all of your inspections. I'm quickly going to mention the reminders as well. We can set up reminders to be sent out to anybody registered for an inspection, just to let them know, especially if they've registered more than a week ago, that you are still registered for the inspection. So by doing this, we try and keep them up to date with their inspection time, so that they do show up to that inspection. So again, this is something that we'll cover with you a little bit later on if I give you a call. So from there, because we've already gone through everything that happens before the inspection now, so we've captured those inquiries, we've booked some inspections in, and now on the day of the inspection, you will be able to use a part of the system called Mobile ROL. So Mobile ROL is something that you'll open up on your mobile device, where you can go ahead and record the attendance results at your open homes. So this isn't an app. You won't find it on the App Store or the Google Play Store. It is still a website. You need to log into inspectrealestate.com.au, enter your login details, and you'll be able to select between the main site and the mobile ROL site. So because you're on your mobile device, you'll just go to Mobile ROL, and it'll open up this screen that we are looking at now with your inspection details. So I'll just quickly jump to the inspection that we have booked in for Friday, and I'll go to all runs and open that one up. So this is what you'll see as soon as you log in. You'll see your name, the number of inspections that you have booked in, the number of people booked in to those inspections, and then you will also be able to go ahead and have a look at the run for yourself, or all of the inspections booked in for the office. So we're just going to concentrate on your run today. So on the day, if you are running a little bit late and you need to let everybody know that you are going to be a couple of minutes late for the inspection, you do have the option of sending the running late message. So this is where you'll click on the late button in the top right hand corner. It will show you, I'll give you the option to select the number of minutes you're running late, the property you're running late for, and then the message that you can send off to them, just advising them that you are going to be 10 minutes late for the inspection, but you are still going to be there, and sorry for any inconvenience. So yeah, this is a great tool to use, especially if you are in an area where there is a lot of traffic. You can go ahead and quickly let everybody know you are running a little bit late. So that way you can cut down on those phone calls back to the office, asking where the property manager is. You can keep them up to date by sending them that running late message. So at the actual inspection, you can go ahead and click on My Run. It'll open up the property address. It'll show you how many people are registered for this particular property. It'll have the key number as well. So you'll go ahead, click on the property address, and it'll open up a little bit more detail about that inspection. So we're going to start by looking at the Tenants tab. So if I scroll a little bit down on that. So within the Tenants tab, this is where you'll be able to see exactly who's registered for your inspection. So you'll have their names and their contact details. And as soon as they show up to the property, you can book them in or mark down that they've attended. So this can be done by just clicking on the attended button. So if you click on it once, it'll say attended yes, so that you've marked down that they've attended. If you click on it again, it will just say that they didn't show up. So you can mark them as a no-show. So we'll just say attended yes. And then you have the option of recording whether or not this person is going to be applying for the property as well. So you can toggle through these options. So not applying, applying yes, and already applied. So we'll say yes, applying. So it is important to go through and update these details. It does keep all of the details within the system up to date for you. So that way you know exactly who attended the open home and who said that they were going to be applying for this property as well. So it makes it a little bit easier for you to follow up afterwards as well. So you'll know exactly who attended and who said that they were going to be applying. From there, we'll click on the More button. And this is where you can go ahead and record a bit more information about the person. So any notes that you want to record, any feedback that they've given you, you can go ahead and record in this section over here. So as default, we do have a few questions in here already. These can be changed. You can update them to suit whatever you normally ask your tenants as they go through the property. So we can update these for you. But in this case, we're just going to say, okay, so does the property suit your needs? They can go ahead and select one of these options. The property price and any tenant comments, so you can go ahead and enter some comments. It's not the tenant comment section is not locked down to everything in the drop down. You can go ahead and type some more details in there if you want to as well. But again, like I said, we can go ahead and customize it for you. Okay, so after you've recorded all of those details, go ahead and click on Save. That'll save those details that you've just recorded for you. You'll see that little green tick next to the person's name, meaning that you've recorded some information against their name. So if somebody shows up to the property and they didn't register for the inspection, you can go ahead and click on the Show Quick Reg bar and then go and enter the mobile number, so 38. This will search through the database and find this person's details, and you can click on Attended. So it is easy enough to record details for somebody who didn't register. If you ever need to, just use that Quick Reg section within the mobile ROL screen, and you will be able to add those details and keep your information up to date. So the next tab that we're going to quickly have a look at is our Tasks tab. So this is where you can record a bit of a summary on what happened at the actual inspection. So if you just want to say one person attended, okay, so you can just give a bit of a summary to the owner, and this note will then appear on the weekly owner report as well. So you can go ahead and add that in while you're at the property. That way you don't have to type it up in the office when you're ready to send out that weekly owner report. If you do it in here, it's in there, ready to go. You can just send it off. You also have the option to take some photos, so if there's a bit of maintenance or anything that you want to bring to either the agent's or the owner's attention, you can take a photo and put a bit of a description next to it of what you've taken a photo of, and you have the option to toggle whether or not this is going to be appearing on the owner report. Okay, so I'll just quickly save these details that I've recorded. From there, now that we've recorded some details, so we've marked down exactly who attended, we've added our weekly owner report note, you can go ahead and send some of the reports off to the owner. So if we click on the reports button in the top right hand corner, you have a few reports in here that you can send off. So the first one is the agent report. So the agent report will give you the option to send a report back to the person listed as the listing agent against the property with the details on there. So all of your notes and the additional comment that you've recorded, you can send off to them just by clicking on the agent button in the top right hand corner. You also have the owner full report, very similar to that agent report that we just showed you, but it won't show any of the contact details for the attendee. It'll just show the notes that you've recorded. If you want to send it off to the owner, simply click on the owner button and that will send them an email with that report attached. You have the owner quick report, so just a quick SMS or email to the owner, just letting them know what happened at that particular open home. So as you can see, it will show them that one person attended, one took an application form. So yeah, it's just a quick update to the owner. And then the last bit is the tenant messages. So this is where you can send some messages off to the tenant thanking them for attending. And because we've marked down that the person is going to be applying for the property, they will also get a copy of your application form so that they can fill that out and send it off. If you are a OneForm user, we can link your OneForm account to the system as well. Okay, so that is our reporting section within Mobile ROL. Okay, so that's Mobile ROL, so that's what you'll be using at the open home to record some attendance results. Just again, it's not an app. You won't find it in any of the app stores. It is a website. You need to navigate to inspectrealestate.com.au. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly reset this and then we'll close this one down. So now that we've recorded some of the attendance results, we are ready to send some more reports to the owner. So this is the weekly owner report that you're going to be sending off to the owner, giving them a breakdown of exactly what happened during the week, so during a 7-day period on their property. So to send that weekly owner report, all you need to do is go to the ROL Reports button, click on the owner reports. It will then show you the properties that you have available. So in here, it will show you your properties, and then all you need to do is go ahead and click on the edit button next to the relevant property address. From there, you will get some more information about this property. So what I'm going to do, usually it'll cover a 7-day period, but because I booked my inspection in the future, so I booked it for Friday, I'm just going to have to quickly change the inspection date. So I'm just going to take it to the 21st, just so that we have some information on here. Okay, so now that I have the correct period on this report, we do have so we can quickly go through. We have the property image, we have the property address. With the view listing, you will be able to add a link in there. So as soon as you receive some inquiries from realestate.com.au, the realestate.com.au link will appear in there so people can go ahead and have a look at the ad for their property. You can assign the primary contact person. You then have a bit of a graph showing you the level of inquiry for the last 7 days. So how many inquiries have we received over the past 7 days, just giving them an idea. Inquiry breakdown, just the numbers on the inquiry. So as you can see, I only received 1 inquiry on this property, and that person attended the inspection, and they said that they are going to submit an application. The vacancy history, so when was the property listed, how many days has it been on the market, how long has it been vacant for, and what the rent is on that particular property. So there is an additional column that you can add to the vacancy history. So this is the rent lost due to vacancy. So you can go ahead and go to the settings tab at the top of the page, click on display lost rent, click on save, go back in here, and you can see the lost rent displayed against this property. So a lot of property managers won't want to use this feature, but it is a great feature to use if the owner is being difficult about dropping the price. So you can switch it on, show them how much they're losing because they are being stubborn and not dropping the price by $5 or $10. So it's just an additional tool that you can use to keep the owner up to date and hopefully get that price drop that you need. But as you saw, it is an additional feature, so you can switch it off if you don't want it on your reports. So you'll just go into settings, and you'll just untick lost rent, and it won't be displayed on the report for you. You then have your inspection information. So this is the inspection that we have booked in for Friday that I recorded the results for. So we can see how many people attended, how many took an application, and the note that we made in Mobile ROL as well. You do have the option to change that note or to add some additional comments if you want to. And once you've done that, you can go ahead and save your changes and then simply click on send owner report, and that'll send it off to the owner, letting them know what happened at their property, so keeping them up to date on a weekly basis. You also have the option to download this report and send it in a separate email if you want to. Okay. Okay, so that is ROL Rentals. So before we finish off, we are going to quickly have a look at the App Tracker side of the software. So to navigate to App Tracker, as you would have just seen, you just click on the drop down in the top left hand corner, select App Tracker. That will load the system, so you'll see the banner change at the top of the page, so you'll know you're in a different system. And as the name suggests, App Tracker helps you keep track of any of the applications that you get into the system. So it's just a great way to get some messages out to the applicants, letting them know exactly what's happening with their application. So with that, the way that we capture applications into the system is we can load your TRA or OneForm applications automatically, so that way you don't have to enter them into the system. With paper applications that you receive into the office, you will need to add those into the system manually. So to do that, you can go ahead and click on New Application. It'll ask you to fill out the applicant details. So again, start with the mobile number. Click on the little arrow. It'll fill out the details for us. You can then go ahead and add the property address, add the property rent, and add some comments about this application if you want to. If you have more than one applicant on this application, you can add them to here. So just click on Add Another Applicant, and that will give you the option to add their details to the application as well. Or if this person is applying for multiple properties, you can add multiple properties against this person's name as well by clicking on Add Another Application. So from here, because we've filled out all those details, we can go ahead and click on Save. It'll add the application to the system for us, so we'll see that the application ID is 8. So now that we've added this application, the applicant would have gotten a message saying that we've received their application, we are busy processing it for them, and we will be in contact with them, letting them know exactly what's happened with their application. So from there, you'll see the application ID. So it's easy to find it. If you ever need to, just ask them for the ID. You can enter it into the search bar and it will pop up. And you'll see on the first column that I have over here is your app link. And this is where you will be able to access those OneForm or TRA applications as soon as they are loaded into the system. So we'll scroll across the date that the application was added, how old is that application, the available date for the property, the owner's name, and then you get to the statuses. So the statuses are what you'll be using to keep the owner up to date, it's not the owner, sorry, the applicant up to date with exactly what's happening with their application. So the default status is going to be processing. So that is the message that I mentioned earlier that they'll get, letting them know that you are going through their application. So from there, you have quite a few options that you can go through. So these are all the default statuses that we have in the system. These can be changed, they can be updated as well. So if you ever need to change any of the messages that are being sent out, or if you ever need to add a different status to this list, you can do that. So I will go through that with you guys as well when I give you a phone call after the training session, just to make sure everything is in the correct order for you. But yeah, with the status, you can go ahead and change it. So let's say it wasn't processing, we've gotten the rental references back, we've now sent the application off to the owner, you can change it to with owner, and when you hear back from the owner, you can then go ahead and either set it to paid or unsuccessful, just depending, waiting payment or unsuccessful, just depending on what the owner said. Waiting payment is the application was approved, and unsuccessful is the owner said, unfortunately, we don't want to go ahead with this application. Just before we finish off with the statuses, you will notice that you have an unsuccessful good and an unsuccessful unsuitable status. So the applicant isn't told that we think their application is good, it was unsuccessful, but we still think it's good, so they can go and apply for a different property, or we don't tell them that we think their application is unsuitable. The message that somebody who is set to unsuccessful, unsuitable will get will just say, unfortunately, you've been unsuccessful in applying for the property. Good luck with your property search. Whereas somebody who's in the unsuccessful good category the message will say something like, unfortunately you've been unsuccessful, but do have a look at our other properties. If there's something that you want to apply for, please let us know. So yeah, they won't know that what the additional information is on there. It's just for you as the property manager to know what's going on with this application. Okay, so you can scroll across, you have a bit more information on there, so the property rent, the applicant details, and you can add some application comments in there if you want to as well. So the last bit of information that we're going to quickly have a look at within App Tracker is our reports. So if we go to the report section and we click on the payment schedule, so this is an additional feature that you guys can use. So this will generate a payment schedule for the tenant, letting them know exactly when their rent is due. So this is not linked to your trust accounting software. It is just a report that you can generate to put in the sign-up pack for the tenants, just so that they can go ahead and mark off when their rent is due. So over here, you'll have the date and how much they need to pay, so they can go ahead and tick it off as they pay their rent. So it's just like an additional piece of paper that you can put in that sign-up pack that they can use, put on their fridge, tick it off. That way they can know that they are up to date with their rent. Okay, so that is App Tracker, and it also brings us to the end of our training for ROL Rentals and App Tracker this morning. So the three most important things to take out of this training for today is keep an eye on your summary page, keep an eye on those 3 columns, so tenants waiting, tenants not registered, tenants booked. That will keep you up to date with what's happening with your inquiries, and after you've booked that inspection, use Mobile ROL, record those results, make sure that you keep the data in the system up to date so that you can report back to the owners, which is number 3, use those owner reports, make sure that you keep the owners up to date. It's a great tool to use. It's easy to send it to them. You can just send it straight from the system. You don't have to type up a separate email. It's all in there, ready to go for you. Okay, so thank you for joining us, guys. I will be in contact with you either this afternoon or tomorrow, just to make sure the account is set up, everybody is ready to go. And if you have any questions that we haven't been able to answer, I will make sure that I answer those for you. So again, thank you for joining us, and I will talk to you soon.